Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
What's up, everyone? Hybrid here, and today we are going to be taking a look at another Star Wars toy. Today we are looking at the Micro Galaxy Squadron Imperial Battle Pack. This is really cool. Now, you might be watching this video looking at this set going, what the heck is that? They haven't announced that, right? And your answer to that is no, they have not. I saw on a Facebook page over the weekend, a collector page, that someone went to their Walmart and just found this thing on the shelf with another set that had a Y-Wing and TIE Bomber, which I could not find this weekend, but after hunting several Walmarts, I did find this one. So this is an interesting set. The set, I'm going to be honest, probably is not worth the money, and I will break it down incredibly briefly, but what you get in the set, it just doesn't offer that great a deal. So you have the TIE Striker, which was available, I believe, in the $13 price point ships. You have the AT-ST, also available in the $13 ships. And then you have a E-Web cannon and a Stormtrooper figure for it, which have been available in the blind boxes. So you have 13, 13, and 5, for a total of $31. And this set cost $30. So you're saving $1 overall on a couple of ships. I'm going to get into the review and tell you why I don't entirely think the value's here on that, unfortunately. So that said, let's get into it. Of course, before I get into this thing and totally eviscerate it, I do need to give you a thorough look at the packaging, and the packaging is rather nice. It is a little bit of a diorama setup. You have a ginormous window showing the vehicles off nicely, and the 3 included figures, a Star Wars logo, Rogue One, which also makes it a little bit bizarre because I don't remember E-Webs or AT-STs being on Scarif, but this is the Imperial Battle Pack from Rogue One, and while that does not say Scarif, the backdrop is Scarif. So you have another warning, pictures of the ships there, and then over here you have the Strikers chasing a U-Wing over Scarif. Here's a wraparound window, Star Wars logo, Micro Galaxy Squadron logo, and around back, varying holograms about the vehicles, cards that you can cut out if you collect those things. I don't know many that do, but maybe that's you. You got little indications of what the ships do. You got Disney and Micro Galaxy logos, barcode and legal stuff, a little bit of window action with more logos up top. Very standard toy box stuff. So that said, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Here's our battle pack out of the packaging, and I'm going to go through these things from smallest to largest and share my thoughts. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is this E-Web turret. Now, there is an included Stormtrooper figure. We'll take a super quick look. It's a very nice sculpt. I believe it is the same sculpt that we've had since the beginning of the line, but we haven't gotten a ton of Stormtroopers in the line, all said. I haven't gotten a new Stormtrooper since the Series 1 Walmart exclusive Imperial Troop Transport, which should have had 8 in it and only came with 2. So I'm really glad to finally get this guy to finally start to work on those numbers, except then my turret will be empty forever. But like any other figure in the line, the arms raised together, the legs go straight together. You put him in a seating pose, although this guy is more meant for operating the turret, which comes on a little ball-jointed hover stand, so you can pivot it, make it rotate however you want to give it any kind of attitude you'd like. And then the blaster itself turns on the top there, and the figure works best if you put him in a roughly standing pose and then kind of just have it waist grab him, push his legs forward just a little bit so he's kind of hanging on to the base there. It's not a perfect fit by any stretch, but it's here, it kind of works. I'm gonna call it acceptable for the scale. Honestly, not the reason you would buy this thing, but I guess it is kind of cool that they elected to include it. Setting that aside, let's take a quick look at the AT-ST. So like I said, I don't know why they would pack this in on a Scarif set. Of course, it does say Rogue One, and you do see one of these on Jedha, so maybe it is just more of a blanket Rogue One set, and they just had to put a background on it in general, because I was going to say, I don't think we see an E-Web on the on Scarif, and I don't recall, I really don't think we see one on Jeddah even, but I digress. The included figure here is the ATST driver. We saw this. The ATST dates all the way back to Wave 1 as well, and it just recently got an Armada release, so it's a little weird that they're doubling up on it right now, but it's okay. This guy does look really nice. They've got all the details right with the black gloves and boots and the silver and the belt buckle, the green helmet with the black visor. Very, very clean touches. And again, like all the other figures, you can put them in a seating position. Now, the seating in the vehicle is a little rough, but you can open the top like so. Now, this vehicle is a little bit underscaled, unfortunately, because when you look in there, there are supposed to be 2 pilots, but there's just one giant chair area, and the guy is not secure in there by any stretch. He's just rattling. You give that a close like a maraca. So you do get some light in through those eyes, not enough to see the figure in there. It's really darkened out immediately. But opening things up, I guess you can kind of see him in there now, just laying down, sleeping on the job. But a little bit of a wash inside the hatch. That's kind of nice. On the outside, very, very subtle wash. Little smudges here and there. I honestly like that. It's a little bit of a cleaner one. But then you get to the legs, and he's got like a brown leg and a brown thigh and a brown foot. They're alternating. He's just kind of got the stanky leg going on. I don't quite remember that on any ATSTs, but I guess. But otherwise, it's a very nice looking sculpt. It looks the part. When you scale it with the figures, like on the outside, it generally looks right. Here it is with a, maybe it's a little underscaled, but it's not much. That's about how it would look next to a person. Just sucks that they used the space inside, so, openly. I think maybe they could have put 2 chairs in there, and the guys might have been crammed in shoulder to shoulder, but they'd have been in there, So, anyway, that's unfortunate, but this thing does feature some nice articulation. As mentioned, the hatch that opens up, the bigger blaster can turn up and down, same as the chin blaster. The body rotates, at the bottom of the neck, and then the legs articulate at the hip, at the backward dog knee, and at the ankle. So you can kind of pose it, where it's hobbling along and, doing ATST stuff. But yeah, that's kind of a walk-in pose, It's going place to place. Star Wars walkers are always just a little bit clunky, aren't they? But we got that. We'll set that off to the side over here. Let's take a look at the TIE Striker. So he comes with a TIE Fighter pilot. Looks very nice. All black, and then he's got some silver punch-ins from Imperial cogs on the temples, some silver punch-ins on the chest box and belt buckle. Very nice stuff, fairly accurate to what you would expect. Pivots at the shoulder and the hips, so you can get him in a nice seated position, which is cool. Setting him down, taking a look at the vehicle. The cockpit opens up like so, meaning very tight. There we go, got that opened up, and there's a seat in there. And you can just push the guy in like so. He nests in better than anyone else. He's nice and secure in there. Cockpit closes and... Oh, what's this? Oh, another seat in the back. Maybe I'm supposed to be missing a TIE Fighter pilot. And, oh no. There's only three spots on that. Yeah, Jazzwares gypped us again on the same vehicle. My biggest complaint with the single-pack TIE Striker was that they didn't give us enough figures to fill the seats. Jazzwares, you dirty, dirty jerks. Pisses me off more than anything else in this line, is giving me empty seats. And that's something I want to really talk about, is that is such a loss of value on this. This could have been the superior release of the TIE Striker. And it's just not, it's on par. One thing they changed on this is they added more clips on the wings to try and hold it a little bit more secure, but as you see, ultimately they still flop. That is a issue from the first release, and on mine, ultimately, I superglued them. This one came pre-assembled, but I'm probably going to deassemble and superglue it as well, just to snug those up, because that super sucks. Very, very frustrating stuff, but yeah, just missing a pilot. Jazzwares, what the heck? Bringing the original one in here, there's really not any big difference as far as like coloring or paint or anything. It's a very, very similar ship ultimately. Nothing nothing to really talk about in the change department there. And that's unfortunate, because this ship on first release was a little bit of a letdown, and it wasn't one that I was looking for a reissue of anytime soon. But that's unfortunate. Anyways, this vehicle features hinging wings. This is like an attack pose, and then down is kind of like a landed pose. Speaking of landed, this vehicle has no landing gear that pop out. I don't know if they live on like a harness or a dock or something, but you do get a very rare stand in the line. You don't get those too often. Kind of just nests in and grabs it by the barrels underneath of the body there, and it allows you to sit it down and not have it just flopping either which way. So at least they try to give you something of value here. Otherwise, there's just not a lot to talk about on this ship. So it's a little bit of a letdown as far as trying to be an upgrade or fixing anything. Anyway, that is ultimately the grand story of this 3-pack. So here we have a little bit of my Imperial fleet all together with this battle pack, such as the standard TIE Fighter or the big TIE, is that a Reaper or whatever in the back? There's so many TIEs now. TIE Defender from Rebels, chilling back here. Very cool release, hanging out next to the bomber. And that troop transport that I, again, mentioned needed more figures, so nice to get that Stormtrooper. As you see, these are some of the smallest offerings in the Imperial Army, all said, but they are offerings all the same. They scale fairly nicely, fairly accurately to what I would expect. And yeah, grand scheme of things, if you potentially are looking at grabbing that Imperial hangar set from Cube Squadron, I think these would all look very nice hanging out inside of it. So that's one good thing about this battle pack. So at the end of the day, what do I think of this Rogue One battle pack? There's just nothing special on this. You know, you guys all know me. I don't like being the negative guy, the guy that's sitting here complaining about the thing. And so I'm not going to spend the rest of my day complaining on it. But again, I mean, I just want to talk about the pricing on this. You know, you got the $13 TIE Striker, the $13 ATST, the $5 blind box, you know, figure with turret. That's $31 of things. And $30 just doesn't feel deal enough for me. I miss the days when getting some sort of an action figure battle pack meant that you were getting a deal. You know, you're gonna get a bunch of things in the box, and maybe it could be a case of not the best offering like the Striker, but you know, man, they knock $5 off, you know, so you're getting a little bit of a bargain and it's worth it. And this just really doesn't feel like that. This is a set that I truly feel is destined for clearance. So even though it is cool to be talking about it before it's been even officially announced by Jazzwares, it's just a set that I think ultimately is going to be a little bit of a letdown, and I do feel let down by it. And I shouldn't, because I knew what I was getting looking at it. When I saw that all of a sudden people were finding at Walmart the Mando and Grogu Razor Crest and the Y-Wing TIE Bomber 2-pack and then this 3-pack, I was like, I'm going to go toy hunt. This is the last one that I want to find, but I'll pick it up if I find it. And it's the only one that I found, and then I found the Mando and Grogu Razor Crest after. Should check out this last week's Hybrids Weekend Toy Hunt if you want to see the finding it on shelf moment. But yeah, I just wanted more, I guess, out of it, or a deal. You know, it could have been this if it was a deal, and that's kind of where I feel slighted. Jazzwares, start filling the dang seats. You need one guy for the turret. You're supposed to have 2 people in the ATST, but there's only 1 chair, so I accept you're only getting 1. This thing has 2 chairs. Give me 2 pilots, Jazzwares. Don't be cheap. But yeah, other than that, you know, do I recommend it? Man, if you look at this and you're like, man, I love what's in here, you know, I don't have them on my shelf, whatever, hey, grab it. And if you find this thing on some kind of a clearance deal, well, heck, then you're finally getting the price it probably should have been, so you should go get it. But ultimately, it's just not a very exciting offering, so I can't act that excited about it, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go work on something else now. Thank you for listening to a guy ramble and ultimately complain, which, again, I don't like doing. May the Force be with you. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a good day.